Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
One, two, live in effect. The Zigzag Ziggalar, commonly known to y'all as I Make Mad Beats. I stole that whole line from RZA. Big shout out RZA. We are live from outer space in the Unapologetic Studio. Behind me is my cast on the Type Beat podcast. I will let them introduce themselves.
LJ1S.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Period.
It's Kid Maestro. Good afternoon.
And I'm Frankie.
Got Frankie in
And in the background, she ain't missing.
Period.
Sheena, you can't see me.
Come on.
You can't see me. Sound like a West Coast rapper.
Yeah.
All right, we got some interesting topics for y'all today. We got some interesting topics for y'all today. Topic master, what we talking about?
Man, so where do we start? Of course, we have to talk about Andre, 3 Stacks.
But what we talking about with Andre? Why are we talking about Andre?
Sample pack or no?
That's yeah.
You sampling or no?
Okay.
Like, we want to know.
Yeah. Are you sampling or not? Like,
I don't know. You know what? For the sake of music, yes, I would sample it. Because it's a very,
wait.
Uh-oh. Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry.
it's a very sample-worthy album.
You would sample it?
Yeah.
Sampling the Andre joint?
I would definitely do it because, like, that's just like niggas sampling Kendrick Lamar, the damn album. You know what I'm saying? Like, why wouldn't you? Niggas sample Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like, Marvin Gaye. Like, why wouldn't you? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it feels good at the moment you trying to play, like, for real. If it feel good, play that shit. You know what I'm saying? Even if you gotta like remake it yourself to come with the same vibe you came with, but you know what I'm saying, we'll know where it came from or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see a problem with sampling it at all.
I don't see an issue with sampling. I think for me is why are you sampling it? Because I feel like is so many people. Are you just sampling because it's Andre? Are you sampling because it's actually dope to you? Like,
What reasons are bad reasons to sample something?
Hold on. Let's not get carried away. I think right now we're talking about like we're drifting into like should we or should we not sample something that just came out and whether or not that's from Andre or not. But let's be clear about the reason we're discussing this. We're discussing this because a hip hop / rap dude put out an album playing an instrument, and people are sarcastically or with a negative criticism saying that this should be a sample pack because they're not valuing it as it's currently standing. That's the root of this discussion. Yeah. So before we get into like, what should we not sample? Like let's face the dissatisfaction with this album that has created people calling it a sample pack.
I think that comes from so many people viewing Andre as just a rapper. So many people trying to tie that into, well, this should be rap. He's a hip hop artist versus him just being an artist. And I feel like that could be why people aren't respecting the album for what it is and more so trying to, like I said, sample packs or whatever the case may be versus just viewing it as Andre dropping a project, you know. But because it's not a rap project, it has a different view. It hits people differently, which is kind of odd. But I guess as a fan of Andre, I get it. But as a creative, as an artist, I'm like, he's an artist. He just dropped another project. That's how I view it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay for, you know, if Apple started selling like something that was traditionally a Samsung product or whatever, you know what I mean, or just if they just flip the script, you know, people would feel weird, and some people might respect it because it's Apple and Apple has built a brand of creative innovation, and then they can do whatever they want. But at the same time, they've also built a community around a type of thinking and a type of device, a certain look, a certain aesthetic, certain workflow. And so when you step outside of that, I think it's normal for people to feel somewhat betrayed because that's not what they bought into. So I think, you know, and as an artist, when you decide to step outside of what you built a community around the product, that's perfectly okay for you as an artist, but you have to be okay with what comes with that. Is like, not everybody is here for everything you have to offer. Some people are here for what you've been offering. And so I think that's fine. You know, as an artist, I think as artists, we have empathy, you know, for people being creative, right? And because that's art, because we've decided to follow that path a little bit more intentionally, and so we get it, right? So I'm not mad at people for feeling weird. Where I think this could have been better is because he's not the first artist to do something like that. The thing is, he just didn't really create the world around that for this thing to exist, because I mean, for as far as I know, his story has been pretty much, like, I don't know where I'm at, you know, I don't know if I'm doing music anymore, and then I just been out the way, and then boom. Now he could have been like sharing his thought process along the way. He could have been showing his growth and his evolution as a person. It's not his, he doesn't have to, but right?
But I feel like he was. I feel like with this absence, when people was like, bro, where's Andre? He showed up several times, like, you know, and saying like, I've been trying to rap. I'm just now, like, he's had several interviews where like, I'm just not feeling that way. This is what I'm on, X, Y, and Z. So like, I'm not super surprised.
But that's what I'm saying. The story was a story of uncertainty that he's even into music. Like that was the whole picture that he was painting. Gotcha. Not that he was And even if that was where he was, like, he didn't show the progression from rap. He didn't show like the inspirations. He never talked about it. It just came all of a sudden. And so he probably could have brought a lot of us along with him on that journey for it to be less like to be met with less opposition from the people who already fucked with him as a rapper. He could have just showed his mindset a little bit more intentionally, because when he showed up, no matter what he said, the vibe of everything he said was that right now he's kind of a lost, troubled artist, which all of us understand, but that was basically the story. And so like, you can't expect that everybody to like meet his new creative project as like viewing it in the savant-esque way that we've been viewing Andre 3000 as this ultimate creative, because that was the brand he built over years as a rapper. But in the last 17 years or whatever, he's been largely silent. And then when he does come out, it is like, there's a hint of like, is Andre okay? You know what I'm saying? So
I guess I view it differently. I mean, yes, I'm an artist, I'm a creative, but every time, first off, like Andre, he's not a big social media person. Like, at least from where I stand. But I know as of late, past few years, every time I've seen Andre in something, he has a flute or some, woodwind instrument. So, like, that's why I'm saying, so for him to be like, I'm dropping this type of project, I'm not that surprised. And just in comparison, like, when you were talking about, like, if Apple did something with Samsung, like, I wouldn't be that big of a thing, because, like, Apple does, it's tech, it's smart. Now, if they came out like, yeah, we dropping a toilet, I'd be like,
right. Well, I feel you. Like, some people would be down for it because they because they have that perspective. But I'm just saying, you gotta acknowledge that, like, if that it was weird when Kanye, the beat guy, started rapping. Like, it was just like, yo, you a beat maker, and then. Like, but he painted that picture over time, and now he's a rap artist. You hardly even associate him with making beats. I'm saying, like, switching like massive ties, especially people that already fuck with you for something, like that takes like intention. And showing up with a flute here and there and saying, I don't know if I'm interested in rap, I'm trying to figure myself out, isn't necessarily bringing all those people along with you with intention. And I'm not saying that he has to, but I feel like there would be a lot less, I feel like there would be a lot more understanding and connection between, like, or more association with him as an artist versus a rapper if he would have been more intentional about the rollout of this project, is what I'm saying. Like, Beyonce can just drop something out of nowhere, but when she does, it's kind of what you expect. If she would have just dropped like some piano virtuoso, like, that would be very weird to all her fans. She would have had to have been telling that story for us to get it. You know what I'm saying?
But I understand the idea you're saying, but like, I also, as you're saying this, it makes me wonder, like, how closely you followed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he has been telling you.
That's what I'm saying. Every interview.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's doing what Gary Vee would have you do, or what a label would tell you to do in terms of social media and output and all those things. But like, he absolutely has been letting people know, like, I'm not interested in rap. I play this instrument. You can find me walking around random streets in Brooklyn playing this instrument. You know what I'm saying? And so he's been doing it in a non-traditional way, but he's absolutely been telling that story. I think what you're really dealing with is the fact that he didn't do it the way we commonly see it done.
Right.
Multiplied by, he's one of the greatest to ever rap, and people still are just mad that they're not getting Andre.
That solo project.
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
I think that
Facts.
is what's keeping it looking like it's like the way you described it. But if you really fucked with him, he's been telling his story.
Right.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I agree. I think, there's been those sprinkles, and it is not traditionally how we look. But that would be my reasoning as to why it's met with so much, to why it's being talked about in a sarcastic way, is because, like, like this was something for his, like, super fans, basically, The people that have been following his every step for the last almost 2 decades, right?
I don't really.
Yeah, I think this is not surprising because for years niggas have been making the joke that Andre not gonna drop a rap album, he gonna drop a flute album. Like that's what people been saying.
Right,
Like
yeah.
that's been like a thing that people been joking about. So I think like it's not that people didn't know he was gonna do this. They was gonna be mad regardless.
That's
whether
it.
he did a rollout, whether he was posting
Facts.
Instagram videos of him playing the flute, they was gonna be mad that they not getting bars
Yeah.
because they're entitled.
I also
They'll
feel
be
like though,
alright.
like this isn't like just to like, like, all right, if I come out with a piano album, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just doing a piano album for the people who have rocked with I Make Mad Beats this whole time. I'm also trying to make music for people who listen to piano. Like,
Right. There's no
Right.
fan base stuff
yeah,
to
you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a part of the anxiety or the negative take on this is kind of like a feeling of people feeling abandoned by their favorite artists to go and venture into other worlds with potentially different fan bases.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting.
Like that's it. Like I mean, you know. So I don't like. Yeah, I think I'm not saying what you're saying isn't playing a role. I just think it's not a majority role. I don't think that's the meat and potatoes of it. I think it's. I feel like this would be received differently if he wasn't. If he didn't show up in the occasional top 10 best rappers
Yep.
of all time,
Yep.
this conversation would be dramatically different.
Yep. Yep.
Right? If he was in the top 30 best rappers of all time, people would talk about this very differently. Right? But everybody right now feels about Dre the same way we felt about Lauryn Hill, like not
Facts.
dropping stuff. The same way we felt about Dave Chappelle if Dave Chappelle had disappeared and came back and said, "Yo, I hula hoop now,"
Right.
He
Yep.
could be
Yeah.
the greatest hula hooper of all
Yeah.
time, and then you
Yep.
would be like, "Yo, this is a fucking waste."
Yeah. Yeah.
Facts, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a good one.
it's because these dudes is goats in their world, and they've created people that don't want them to change. Like,
Yeah.
Damn. I feel like, yeah, I guess that is the art in itself. When you become a certain type of artist or you're viewed as a certain type of artist, like you said, people, your core fans don't want you to move beyond that and be an artist, which is weird.
Yeah, I agree. I think you know,
stick around.
and let's just be clear. First of all, I haven't listened to the album yet. Two, I definitely am on the side of like the most free creative expression because I feel like we'd all just be, the world would definitely be a better place if everybody moved that way, like followed what came to you and gave it and valued it, right? But I'm really just speaking towards like, I think I'm speaking more of like on a business standpoint. Like if you have a desire to capitalize off of the community that you've built, right, and your ability to reach people, and you want that quote unquote commercial success, or you want it to, you know,
Right.
be received in a certain way, which is not necessarily people's goals. I think that's really what I mean, just world building. You know what I'm saying? We talk about just like creating the world you want your art to exist in, right? And I think that from that perspective, there definitely could have been a little bit more intention on his end. You know what I mean?
I also want to say this too, because this is something that like about world building. Like, I feel like like you could have predicted this even before the end of the Outkast era, right? And here's why, right? So let me ask y'all this, right? How many of y'all have heard Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Funkin' Music? How many of y'all heard that first album? You
Yeah.
heard it?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of y'all have heard ATA?
Yeah.
Yep.
Heard it? Okay. How many of y'all have heard Aquemini?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And the following albums?
I feel clueless.
I don't even know if I can name a following album after that. What was the?
So the one
Yeah.
after that
They
was
did
Bond
a-
Over Baghdad. No, I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I know they.
Not Aliens, fucking Speaking Rocks.
Speaking
Yep.
of,
Yeah.
that wasn't the one right after Aquemini. There was one more, and then there was that one. Then there was that one. But if you go and listen to Southern Playalistic, and then you listen to AT Aliens, and then you listen to Aquemini, right? When I think of Outkast, the number one trophy Outkast gets is they were able to change who they were and their sound and maintain their audience better than any group I've ever seen in hip hop history. Right? Like, I mean, like, if you go and say, you know, Southern Playalistic and AT Alien sounds the same, you don't have ears. And if you think Southern Playalistic and Aquemini sound the same, you don't have ears, a mouth, a nose, or anything. In fact, you don't exist. And so, like, one thing that they've always been leaders on is daring innovation. This is why the intro to Aquemini is Andre, you know, talking about how people think he's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to be clear about something. This kind of like, what the fuck is Andre doing? That's been him since the beginning.
Right.
He's always been on some next shit. The next time you see him, he's not like the last time you saw him. Go and watch a video from Southern Playalistic, then watch a video from AT Aliens. That's not the same nigga. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, it is very on brand for Andre to go somewhere people are not ready for him to be. That's his job.
That's why I respect the album, man. The album made me feel good, for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respected Andre for that album. I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah, but that's why Outkast worked. Outkast worked because you had Andre stretching what you should expect from a Southern rap group, and then you had Big Boy rooting you in Southern rap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And funk, like that combination is what made them so special. You know.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to listen to this, John.
Just don't become a frequency nigga.
Yeah. So I will say this. I'm definitely not a frequency like, yo, tune it to, you know, this type junk for any specific reason. But I can't remember which song it was, but Flying Lotus is an artist I heavily fuck with, like heavily. And I remember I was trying to learn the chords to this one song, and I was like, oh, I can't do it because this is not in the right tune. I was like, yo, what is going on? And that, because I fucked with him, that and because of his branding, it at least made me question why. Like because if it didn't matter, and if it didn't matter, why take the effort to do it? Because all our instruments be like tuned to a certain way. So it would take effort to like make a whole composition as dense as Flying Lotus compositions to do that. So it did make me question why, and it happened to be something I truly fucked with. So it opened me up to the possibility that, hey, maybe certain frequencies like will like produce different emotions. And I don't fully know why, but I mean, for thousands of years, there's been a lot of intention behind like, yo, people like figured out a frequency or something and then built structures and churches and paintings around all that.
That's a science. When I say a frequency nigga, I'm more so speaking of like how folks been responding to Andre's project. That's on some like
you're talking about the science of it. He's talking about the culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
I definitely that's the thing.
People who make those comments, and you're talking about
smart.
No, that Memphis, they would dish you for being smart. That's crazy. No, I agree with that, but yeah, I'm definitely talking about just the culture around it. How folks like.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's giving snobby a wee bit. Like, you know.
Well, actually, crystals have been known. He's like,
like,
yeah, like.
Yep. I will say, I think this is a good conversation to segue into getting your vision out as a producer, as an artist. And I feel like Andre is doing that by dropping this project. This is his vision. This is what he sees for where he's living right now. But more so on the producer end of it, talk about getting your vision and delivering your vision so an artist can understand it to the point where they believe in the vision. Because I know I've been in sessions where it takes a while to try to get an artist, and I feel like most of the time they're just not comfortable. I've dealt with these situations when like it's a new artist, our first time working together, just don't know each other. So a lot of times your vision may not line up with what they see for themselves or what they hearing for the song or whatever. Like, what is your process with that? How you deal with that? But more important, like, how do you feel about that process? And it's just...
I think... I mean, honestly, I feel like that's just more of like that. It's like a trust thing that just has to be built up over time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's that first time where it's like, yo, I got this idea, and then, you know, the artist is willing to try it. But to get to that point, I don't even know how to explain that. It just is like through communication, through like, you know, creating this sense of like, I understand where you're coming from, therefore I'm willing to try. Oh, I understand. I feel that you understand where I'm coming from as a basis. Therefore, I trust you enough to try something that I wouldn't normally do. Like, I think there's various ways to go about that. If you're working with somebody brand new that you have no real relationship, they just hired you to like, I want to produce a song, whatever. Hopefully, like, you know, part of why they hired you isn't just like a service provider kind of thing. It's more so like they hired you for your mind. So like off top, there should be some space for that. You know what I mean? But if there isn't, you know what I mean? I think it's really just, it's a dance. Like it's a dance. It's like, okay, well, all right, I'm gonna back off. You know what I'm saying? Let you try this, and I'm gonna make you feel very comfortable that your ideas are getting out the way you see, and I'm gonna throw something in there and be like, ooh, what if we, you know what I'm saying, just use the momentum of your energy to like throw a curveball, maybe, you know.
Let me give you a situation. This is something we were talking about last week. Let's say you shoot an artist, certain beats or whatever, you know, they like, yeah, this is cool, but they ain't really rocking with it. Months go by, you play this same beat, and they like, bro, this is it. Why haven't you played this for me? Or whatever, like.
What a hypothetical has never happened scenario. What would we do?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how you responded?
I don't even know.
You like, fam.
Yeah. I mean, well, I was gonna say, you know, I guess it depends on the mood of the situation at that time. You know what I'm saying? Some people could be in a certain kind of mood, and they'll hear that beat and be like, oh, okay, it's not really feeling for this time. And then I think it's pretty dumb though if you come back and say, oh, why you ain't played me this young like, nigga, I did play it
I've
for
definitely
you know what I'm saying? You ain't even try to archive that shit or nothing, but you know what I'm saying, moving on type shit, and I play other stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I guess I don't know. I guess that goes to where the customer's always right. No, the fuck.
Hold on, I might have misunderstood your question. So you saying like you sending beats that you want them to get on, and then you play something you didn't send them?
No, you played them.
You played, okay,
stuff,
so it's the
like,
same thing.
Later.
Okay, all right. Cool.
I've had this situation on some like I've sent an artist a beat, and they don't say nothing about it. They like, yeah, that was cool, whatever. Then they like time go by. Of course, I'm like, I'm not finna wait on it if you don't want it. Okay, cool. Someone else comes to me like, and I make this beat for someone, but someone else heard the beat like, yo, I want to buy this X, Y, and Z. So now that artist hears another artist on this beat and like, bro, this beat is crazy, man. Why you ain't get that to me? And I'll be like, bro, what? Like, what? Check your email, fam. Like,
honestly, I feel good about that because I'd be like, see, next time you'll listen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be like, all right, you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Feel like you missed out. So, you know what I'm saying? It won't happen again.
Reach out to that.
Next time you will listen.
Do they listen next time?
I mean,
no. They really don't, because if they didn't listen the first time,
That's
they're
a cool
obviously
thing to say in that moment.
I mean, but that's how I feel. I mean, that the only real times I feel like that's like really happened has been mostly with like pro.
Man,
And
crazy.
and I be and
Yeah.
I it's hard to
So
say.
does
Like
that
I've been.
continue to happen?
I mean,
The answer is yes.
yeah, it does.
Okay.
It's I don't know. It's
It's
just
a cool thing to say.
I mean, but that's how I
No
feel.
lesson learned.
That's how I feel. Like when he asked me how I feel, I'm like, yeah, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like
I'm not, of course, I'm
Yeah.
not challenging how you should or shouldn't feel. I'm just wondering when you said when you said, well, I'm wondering, was that a cool thing to say, or do you feel like when that happens, you're on the road to gaining
to like them
something else,
moving
change
differently?
Pattern.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. I mean,
I've only had
because-
one
yeah.
artist that legit now, like, whatever I send them, they're like, I bet I'm gonna see what I can do. Like, legit trust the vision, because they like now even though they see it as it may be a challenge or it may be something that they're not used to, they know now, like, okay, if LJ sent it to me, like he hears something. Like I can happily say I have one artist that rocks with that.
Offen's like that.
This is the cheat code for everything we talking about, though, and this is why like I don't think it's a coincidence. So like I feel like when you have like a producer that is strictly like a beat maker, right? Like you'll deal with this dynamic more, right? But if you have a Pharrell, if you have a RZA, if you have a Dr. Dre, right? I think a key component to getting an artist to see the vision that they might not be able to see is if you can do what they do, right? So like if I'm a producer and I'm producing for an artist that sings, if I can sing, I can further get them to get the idea if I couldn't sing.
Right.
If I can rap, right? Even if I can just make a dope ass hook or use my voice in a cool ass way, right? It allows people to see how they can, oh, okay. Oh, I feel that.
That
You know
could
what I'm
be,
saying?
yeah.
Versus just having a beat and then just trying to be like, yo, you got to rap fast on this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Then they might not see the vision. And so I would say, versus, and let me be clear, I've been in these scenarios probably more than anybody, or more than anybody in this room, and I have felt the frustration and annoyance that comes alongside it. But I also know this, like, that lift isn't just like, oh, well, the artist isn't willing to listen to me. It also isn't just, I have an established trust. There's also a skill part to it.
Right.
There is something you as a producer can control about how well you're able to get your vision across immediately, whether they trust you or not. Right?
Yeah.
And that's something, well, if you can control that, well, then you should take on the challenge of controlling it. I learned how to play piano, not just to know how to play piano, but to also talk to pianists about what I want them to play. Right? But if I didn't know how to play piano, I would probably be on some like, just make it smooth.
Yeah, something more blue.
You know what I'm saying? And so like, a part of conveying any idea is how well do you speak that person's language. And if they're a rapper, their language is rap. If they're a singer, their language is singing. So if you can speak the language of singing, they can see the vision.
Communication.
Speaking tones, nigga.
I want to flip this question on some more so perspective for the artists, or the rap artists, singers in the room. Like, how do
Why you
y'all
had to
go?
put all three in together?
I'm saying, how do y'all go about, like, or have you ever dealt with like trying to get your vision out to a producer and they not get it, they not understand where you want to go with it? Like, what's your process?
Yeah, I've dealt with that quite a few times. And a few. No. So the few times that I've gotten a couple emails, shout out to Young Quarter and whatnot. Dope dude. He's come a long way from where he was. But he would be one of the ones that would send me the tracks. And, I would get them and I'd be like, oh, okay, I feel where you were trying to go with it, but I wouldn't necessarily use it. But then it was like over time, it's like beats started getting better or whatnot. And then he had this one track. He was so on point with it. And then I think I asked him to like switch up the kick or something like that on it. And I ain't talking about you, my guy, but you fucked the song up. But yeah, it be like that though. You know what I'm saying? So that was a bad one. And then there's other times where, I ain't gonna speak names, but there's other times where producers are distracted by other things. And I can't really get an idea or anything out because, the idea of me with no clothes on seems more appealing. So it's I've had many instances where, I felt like my ideas didn't get conveyed out, properly. And then I've had many a times where they got conveyed perfectly, you know what I'm saying? By very few people, you know what I'm saying? Very few. Like I can count on one hand type shit, but it's unfortunate I can count on 2 hands and 2 feet how many times I haven't been able to convey an idea out.
Do you feel like that's played a gangster role in like you being a producer yourself? Or do you think you just would have been a producer yourself regardless?
It also does because it created a kind of tension between the fact that I'm a woman doing it, you know what I'm saying? And an attractive woman at that, you know what I'm saying? And I've even dated.
Why did I hear Sheena's was purr?
Period. Yeah.
He was in my head.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like I've even dated like producers or whatnot, or just, people that, kind of indulge in close to what I do or whatnot. And it's always been like an intimidation kind of thing. Like, I may be a little bit, more skilled than they or something like that, or may have a little bit more experience than they. And, they may have something that I'm looking for, and I'll come to them with my idea. Hey,
you be intimidated?
I mean, apparently, period. But,
I don't see that side of the game. Like, I've never seen you do that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that anymore. Like,
I guess it's too late for me. I'm
yeah,
story.
yeah. But no, it wasn't my persona that was intimidating. It was my skills that were intimidating. The fact that I did produce, and I was very good at
Let's
it.
have that discussion then.
I was very good at it.
Hold on.
Well, I want to say one thing about like conveying like ideas and stuff really quick before we move on. But like as someone that is an artist and like a producer, engineer type thing, like before, like when I was just like singing, songwriting or whatever, and like when I would come into the studio and try to make something with you, like before I started to like actually know what I was doing. Yeah. With like the technical side of things, like it helps so much when the artist knows a little bit about like the language, like if you know what reverb does, then you can be like, actually I might like that with a little reverb or something like that, or like any of the effects and stuff like that. But like what y'all were saying earlier, like if you come at somebody and you're like, I want you to make it sound more like, yeah, make it sound smooth. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's a million different things that can make something sound smooth.
Bro, I think that's a conversation in itself.
Yeah,
for real.
The perfect. I've dealt with like,
Thank you, Frankie. Sorry for making sense.
Shout out.
The person I feel like I've learned the most from in terms of like the artist to the producer side of that is working with Aaron James. It's like Aaron James, he definitely like has like developed the language, and the more session he does, the better the language. But one of the things he's great at when it comes to like delivering his vision, because he always comes in with a song that he's written on guitar, and then it's like, all right, let's make this. He like is the king of having references. He's like, yo, I have this idea for like, I want the song to start with like an opening synth line that just captures you. And then he'll have a list of songs that is like an example of that kind of thing, those kinds of textures. And it'd be like, oh, okay. And it just makes it so easy for us to like move from that. So yeah, having references for artists out there is great.
I feel like we're at a point where this conversation can go two ways. Based on, because I feel like Matt had a question loaded. And I was just thinking of something based off of what you just said. But let's go.
Okay, so I got a unique question. You said that your skill would intimidate people. Okay, so first and foremost, that makes perfect sense to me, right? Because you're incredible at what you do.
Facts.
Right? But, okay, so you said you had some negative experiences because people were intimidated by your skill, right? Okay, is this why when you started coming around me, it seemed like you were hiding everything you could do? I had to learn of this over years, right? Was there a locked in, internalized fear of like just splashing in this junk? Like, nigga, I can do all this shit. Were you shrinking yourself with the hopes of not intimidating I Make Mad Beats?
No.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
No. No, for real though, on some real shit, like a lot of things that I've started doing, like a lot of things that I've started like revealing has been a journey through, is it okay to show this type shit?
I feel that.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like, is it okay to, without sounding like I'm gloating or sounding like I'm like trying to be better than this, that, and the other, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been through that like a lot. And like when I first came around, it was like, I don't know. I was just like, damn, niggas killing it over here. I'm like, shit, this is where I've been wanting to be at. Like, but
Let me not mess this up by like being too great. Like,
yeah,
was that the mindset? Like,
no, like in that kind of mindset, like I was just like, dang, like I do a lot of shit, but I don't want niggas to be coming to me with a conversation talking about, oh, you need to choose one. Like, I'm like, I don't want to choose. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know, like, yeah. I think I feel what you're saying, because also, like, even going back to what we were talking about Andre, like, versatility is intimidating. And I was talking to you about this the other day. Like, I don't understand why more people don't do more than one thing. Like, you can have a recording engineer that, if you put them in like a playback engineer's role, they would have no idea what they're doing. But like, I feel like people think that they just have to pick this one thing and they'll only do this one thing. Like, no, you can know how to do more than one thing. Like, it's okay. Like, you don't have to pick one thing and then master it like completely. Like, of course it's good to master things that you do, but like, you can know like a moderate amount about a lot of things, and like, it's okay. Like, you know?
Yeah. I think that there's a spectrum of, okay, so I think with each person, there's a balance you have to attain. Meaning like, you know, there are some people who can do 3 and 4 things simultaneously. And there's somebody who should probably focus on 1 or 2. And then there's somebody who could focus on 10. You know what I'm saying? I've seen all of these people, you know what I'm saying? Sure. And advice for one is not advice for another, you know? But I think, and so I agree with you deeply on that. I also think it's hilarious that somebody would come to unapologetic with that concern. It just makes me feel like, oh, you have a lot to learn about us. Like, everybody here
I
does
did learn a
16,000
lot.
things. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
I did
That's
learn
true.
a lot. I did.
But you know, just to give a little bit of backstory for those who either are watching now or who will eventually see this, you know, Unique and I really started getting in the lab together at the top of 2020. And it took years. It took LJ coming around for me to even know you made beats. Like, he was like, yeah, man, you was in beat battles. I'm like, what? You was in beat battles?
Killing it, too.
Yeah.
Killing
you know
it.
what I'm saying? You were doing all this stuff. And then, you know, over the years, all you got to do, look, man, just get Unique in the room. Maybe something that's floating around in the air and people are talking, and you're going to hear that Unique has worked with so many people and done so many things, right? And it just be like, bro, hold on, fam. This is not the impression you gave off, like, you know. And so, like, I just feel like we're at a point right now where it's like, you know, in this conversation, right, of like, showing yourself, having multiple talents, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It feels like a small branch off. This feels like a whole tangent that could be a whole conversation in itself, right? But I definitely want to acknowledge, like, you know, a lot of times that's an external voice, And a lot of times that's an internalized voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't think of a place where, I mean, if you came in here one day and was like, yo, man, I'm doing, let's go to the shuttle and shoot these cartwheels that I've been working on. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody will help you set up the camera.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? But it took you a time to roll out, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that was an internal voice, because that was nobody in the team. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't us.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, like, no, of course, that's completely facts. Like, nobody in Unapologetic would ever be like, oh, you can't do that. That's wild. Like, what a crazy idea. But,
Right,
but
that's crazy.
Yeah, but also, like, I feel like past experiences of places that were not unapologetic can also lead to habits that, like, you know, like, you need probably develop that from coming around other people. And then, you know, it's something that you don't even think about. Like, you just, like, automatically are like, oh, I'm not gonna, because, like, that's been the majority of her experience. You know what I mean? Like,
It's a subconscious decision.
yeah, like, I don't think, like, it is an internal thing, like, in this situation, but I don't think it started as an internal thing.
No, absolutely, no. I know that from experience. I know that, like, literally for like the first year open of Dirty Socks, before I even knew Kid, you know, like, I mean, at least 1 out of every 3 artists that came through, like, they were shocked at how much I let them do whatever they thought as a producer engineer I was gonna be like dude from Whiplash, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, be like, oh, you have to do this, you should do that. This is the kind of artist you are. Be controlling. You know. And I was just like, nah, bro. Like that. And so I remember that's when I came up with the kind of analogy. Like, you know, I'm not here to tell you where to go. I'm here for you to tell me where you want to go and either give you some gas or put you in a cool car to get there. That's my job.
Exactly. Yeah.
Which I think in turn makes people that are used to being told exactly what they're supposed to do, like, it makes people uncomfortable. And I feel like that even goes back to being able to like talk to a producer and like convey like what the idea is, because so many artists are used to like not giving ideas that they're like, when someone's like, what do you think? What's your idea? They're like, oh, well, fuck, I don't know. Like,
well, you know what? Now we're circling back. Now we're circling back to the origin of this, right? Big shout out Frankie. You know what I'm saying? So like, an artist, there's a good chance if everything we've just discussed is a part of the ecosystem of the producer-artist connection, right? Then it feels like psychologically there's a good chance that staunch, like, no, I'm an artist, I'm gonna do it this way, I'm not gonna listen to a producer, is in defense to previous traumas where they felt like somebody was trying to control them or tell them what to do, right? And so and so it really does come back to a trust thing where you have to build that trust. Because they're trying to feel like, no, I am gonna get it out the way I want to get it out this time.
It's very to me, like in working with very different artists, I feel like it's kind of like in the 7 Habits, like when you go from dependence to independence to interdependence, where like, you know, there's definitely, whether by force or just by like lack of confidence or lack of vision or all these things, there's definitely artists who like consciously and subconsciously are looking to be told what to do, right? Who are expecting to be told what to do, right? And it's uncomfortable sometimes when that's not happening, right? Yeah. And then you get to a point where it's like, yo, I'm not even me no more. And then you're like,
yo, you're absolutely
like fighting back.
And so I think I traditionally would call this the swinging of the pendulum. You start off with dependence. You have nothing. You can't, like, somebody's showing you blah, 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 right? And then you swing wildly into independence. No, I'm doing this all on my own, blah, 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 blah. I finally have control over it, right? And then at some point, the pendulum swings back to the middle. And you're realizing, yes, you could do this on your own. But
right. It's way better when you
exactly
get the minds, you know what I'm saying?
It really is. Like, it's a lot better. Like, for real.
But some people stay on independence, and some people, and that's. I mean, I love that if that's.
My anxiety fucks with me too bad. I ain't lying. I'll be pacing somewhere.
Yeah. Also, man, like, it also feels like, and I swear this is not like we the greatest. I'm not saying that, you know what I'm saying? But like,
but like we are.
But it does feel like, from the way people respond to me / us, it does feel like this kind of environment is rare, right?
Yeah.
And so
crazy.
like, we could sit here all day and be like, yo, it should go like this. People should be blah, blah, blah. But like, everything we're saying should happen is in a safe home.
Yeah.
It feels like safe homes are rare.
Yeah, bro,
You know what I'm saying?
Very
Like,
true. Very true.
At least from what people tell me. You know what I'm saying?
same,
I live here. This is
same.
my everyday life. You know what I'm saying?
Because this is a place built by artists for artists.
Yeah.
Like,
Facts.
you know, and all producers take on the mindset of an artist. Not all producers see themselves that way. They otherize themselves apart from more traditional artists, people who are on the
That's
mic
how they built
from
the
themselves. And when you don't have, when you can't empathize because by choice, you know what I'm saying? You don't know how to talk to people. Like, you don't know how to talk to the people that you're here to help, that you're saying you're here to help.
Man, I don't know if it, I mean, I feel like we all feel the same way, but I've never been this person, or I can never imagine myself being the producer that, like, don't listen to the artist or anyone else in the room and be like, no, this is, unless it's like, even if it's my thing, like, I want to, you're in the room for a reason. Like, if I want to do this all by me, I would just go off and be isolated doing whatever the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
You know, it's wild to me when I hear these stories. You know, when I deal with artists and they be like, man, this was different. I appreciate this space because they've been in situations where they basically were just a voice.
Yeah.
You know, they wasn't an artist. They were just a voice.
Or they were some other thing, which we can get into. Where they were just some sort of object.
That's
you know what I'm
crazy,
saying?
bro.
To gawk at or to touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
That's wild.
you know, obviously this is inspired. I mean, the whole thing with Diddy is not the first time this has happened.
So
But
we're officially transitioning.
Yeah.
We doing?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Go ahead.
yeah. You know, this whole situation with Diddy is obviously not the first time this has happened, but like, you know, it brought a good segue to bring this up. Like, I can't tell you, and all of us know this, like, Matt, you know this, you know, LJ, you know this, like, how many times women, producers, and artists, like, have come in here and have been like, yo, like, this is so different because, like, man, at these other studios or I be working with these other producers, yeah, they should be going good, and then they, like, say something crazy, like take off your clothes, or you know what I'm saying, or it just go in a different way, and it just totally, like, it makes them uncomfortable to the point where not it just like ruins the vibe. They're like, they feel unsafe. And I just want to say, man, y'all producers, like, you, especially you men producers, like, cut that shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's porn. You know what I'm saying? There's like,
There are other avenues.
there's, and I'm gonna be honest, like,
Pocket pussy, some other shit. Get you
Kids,
one.
go watch some porn. What's wrong with you?
Get your match.
and hold on, and I, bro, and
Get your
and
man.
porn is not like that's another topic that just, you know, forget I even said that. Just like what I'm saying is, like, bro, like, all right, this is why niggas like us are winning, bro, because, like, there's an understanding, like, this is a safe space. The studio is fucking, like, niggas be talking about getting money and don't be on business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be talking about they this and that and just be, like, distracted. Like, this is why you not gonna win. Like, and even if you get ahead, that shit can be snatched from you in a moment. Look at Diddy. Like, you'll never escape that. So just stop it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, go to the club, go to the strip club, go to where go in an environment where that is appropriate. The studio is not that.
No,
like,
that's real.
and it be so offensive. And I feel like I can, like, this is one area, like, I'm so not perfect, but this is one area where I feel like I've held myself in a high enough standard and seen the results of it to really be able to talk from this angle. Like, anything that's even close to it is not appropriate in the studio. Like, if you decide to enter a working relationship with a person, like, like I would advise you not to even go down that route. Like there needs to be a clear separation. So if an artist come to you to work, like, and I know, like, you know, stuff develops over time, you know, it's very nuanced, but like your first thought should be the work first, you know what I'm saying? Like no matter like how she look or what you thinking inside, like put it to the side, like get some self-control and stay focused, cause you're just gonna ruin it. Like I never met, like in my own life, and I'm not, maybe it happens, y'all can shed some light, but I never heard no woman saying like, yeah, like we was working in a song and then he just started saying like, it just shifted direction and I was, you know what I'm saying, I was with it, you know what I'm saying? That was just a great experience. Like I've never really heard, you know what I'm saying? Okay, maybe I never heard no artist come in and have that story. You know what I'm saying? Like every time they come in,
Yeah, like if it happens, it's rare.
Yeah. And if it happens, like that should be like in the fucking 15th session, like like not immediately. Right. I don't know, that's just my personal opinion, but
I want to throw this in the sauce real quick. You know what I'm saying? I don't think. Okay, I have run the studio and have been running studio sessions for a very long time. I don't think, though, I don't think it is necessarily an attraction thing that is doing this, creating this scenario. I think it's a control thing. I think it's I am powerful, you have come to me to reach a goal or to whatever, blah, blah, and I'm going to make you do what I want you to do for you to get what you came here for, right?
You're right.
It is the worst version of gatekeeping, right? It is, and you know, and so that's why I say I don't think it's just like, oh, I think she's fine, or oh, I think she's attractive. Man, I gotta find a way to holler at her. I'm gonna do it in the studio because she's an artist and I get a chance to talk to her. Now, I think it's a, you know, I think these are insecure people who have no other way to feel in control of their life or environment, who probably, you know, in a space that they don't control as much, feel less competent to attract a woman or to attract what they want. And I think, you know, I think that there's space to feel like, you know, a big bad boss is in these spaces. I think it's a control thing. And I think that whatever that characteristic is, it spreads out everywhere. Like you can see that kind of person. It's not like you don't just see that in their reactions to women in the studio with them. You see that with their reactions with another producer or another engineer. It's so hilarious, bro. And I'm gonna keep it all the way live.
Let's
All the way
talk
live.
about it.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've been around producer engineers in this city who, like, you know, where upon first meeting them, I'm just like, yo, what's this person's name? Oh, that's what's up. Yo, what up, dog? Yo, it's good to meet you. I'm I Make Mad Beats. You know what I'm saying? And they give you the cold shoulder, or they act like they're not trying to meet you, or whatever. Blah. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, it come to find out that, like, you know, these are the same people with terrible track records with women in the studio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so you know, like, okay, I know why you're doing that with women, because you're insecure and you desperately want control. And that also makes sense as to why you couldn't shake my hand. It's because you're insecure and desperately need control, right? Especially around me, right? Because as we walked into that space together, I was on the cover of the Daily News and you weren't.
Bitch.
So I understand why you would feel like that.
Bitch.
Yeah. But it bleeds everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, though, like, if I'm going to be all the way. If I'm going to be all the way live, man, y'all know me. Y'all know one of my favorite terms is how you do any, or slogans. How you do anything is how you do everything. Right? You you know, I mean, us as human beings, we have insecurities. Like, we're never going to be void of all insecurities, right? But like, when I see someone that can't control their insecurities, literally, like, in any space, with any topic, I consider that person a dangerous person.
Yeah.
Because how you do anything is how you do everything. If you can find a way to justify your own fears for things that make you okay with acting out of character and doing terrible things and having terrible character, I can't imagine all the ways that shows up. And I have no room or space in the places that I've built with the people that I love to invite that in and make that a part of my culture. What do we do here?
That's
I stay away from these people.
Oh, that's right.
I think about it all the time. I think about how dangerous fear is, right? How about how, like, in my lifetime, people driving recklessly don't cause accidents as much as people afraid to drive. Right? Like the person driving who's braking too much or is so afraid of what might happen, that's the person who causes an accident.
Yeah.
It's not the guy who's like, oh, let me get around this person right quick and make a left. You know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Yeah.
Right? Fear. When I see fear in people, deep-rooted fear that seems like they can't control it, it's one thing when you acknowledge it, but it's another thing when it's like, when it looks like you have no control and are potentially unaware of how deep-rooted your fear is. I stay away from those people. I stay away from those people, and 9 times out of 10, a year, 2 years, 5 years will pass, and they will have done something atrocious, and I'll be so glad that I am in no picture with this person, that I have always managed to never be in the same room as this person. And I'm so glad I believed my own thoughts. I'm so glad that I saw the fear in them and that they couldn't control it. And I decided to stay over here.
Yeah. I was also going to say, circling back to what you said with the whole producers wanting control thing and, you know, doing what they do to artists. Sometimes the artist comes in on some more shit too.
I definitely had that.
They're on some power shit.
I was thinking that, but I was gonna fall.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was seeing it.
I'm gonna talk about it.
I'm
gonna talk about it. Sometimes the artist comes in and feeling like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I got the juice. I got the views. I got this, that, and the other. I got the look. I got the sound to come up in here and,
I got
you
the
know,
ass.
yeah, the ass.
man.
You know
I
what
got
I'm
the
saying?
body.
You know what I'm saying? To come up in here and try to
This is real.
change shit.
Bro, that shit, I don't tolerate that shit either, bro.
Like for real, it happens though, and it makes like some producers look bad. Like I can't even like make it all fall on the producers. Sometimes these artists be out here with the shit, you know what I'm saying, and feeling like, oh, I'm a hot artist, I can make you hot, you know what I'm saying. You just record my shit like you ain't shit, like you know what I'm saying. Yeah, like coming to these new producers or whatnot, trying to get them a small little bag for, you know what I'm saying, and they end up going and making big and shit. Like that shit happens, like, you know what I'm saying. Niggas ain't shit. And that is gender inclusive. You feel me? Niggas ain't shit.
I didn't. Yo, it's funny you say that, because it wasn't until I came back down here that niggas was meant as men. I thought it was just. I'd never use niggas to think about just men.
No.
You know, people. Anyway, go ahead.
I agree.
No. What were you gonna say?
I said it. I'm talking
But for real
that
though,
shit not cool.
shoot.
Like that.
I ain't saying no names, but motherfuckers be up in DMs, hit motherfuckers up, talking about I want to be up over there. You think you finna come throw that ass? Or niggas have come to me talking about, oh, you fine as hell. Hey, let me come record with you at your house and all this other stuff. I'm like, no, nigga. Why would you think that's okay? Why would you even think that was okay to even ask me something like that? You know what I'm saying?
Did you think that was
in the
gonna be
first place.
successful?
Yeah.
Finish what you were saying first.
No, like I'm just like, it happens on both sides, because I was just thinking about it. I was like, dang, producers do get, you know, a bad rep too, but like, no, some of these artists be with the shit and be purposely doing that shit sometimes, you know what I'm saying, trying to bribe motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying. What'd you say, Nubia?
Yeah, no. So I love topics like this because it's so complicated. I'll use this example and then I'll go back to what we're talking about. But sometimes I think about like the culture of going out to drink to find partners to have sex with, and like how in certain contexts that can be really like dangerous and predatory because you're like trying to like you know that you have better. Maybe if you're someone that you don't have a lot of confidence, you know that if someone is more drunk, that they might give you a chance that they wouldn't otherwise, or vice versa. Like it would just be easier. And sometimes people just do that because like that's the dance. Like that's what we do. You go out, you get drunk, and then you do stuff that you maybe wouldn't do if you were sober. So like because the rules of that world are like gray, and you're like assuming certain like risk in the pursuit of this thing. Yeah. It's like it's hard to make the like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that lines, unless you're gonna be like, don't try to do this drunk at all. So the same thing I feel like happens with like this scenario of people introducing sexual advances into like the creative space, into the studio, because some people like they accept that as like something that they enjoy. And like they're like, okay, I'm finna go here and like we finna make some music, we finna smoke, it's finna be a vibe, and this other thing is finna happen too. And then like sometimes the artist and the producer or everybody involved is down for that. Sometimes only one party is down for that. Sometimes one party that has no idea that's even a dynamic that people observe. So it's like, it's really like complicated.
To judge that upon that's stereotypical.
Yeah.
Nah. So like, all right, so, okay, I say this all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, for every woman that says like, I'm tired of guys catcalling, there's a woman who loves getting catcalled, right? And so like, absolutely, right? So like, dudes aren't just doing this because like dudes wouldn't do something that never worked.
Right, right.
Right? At some point it works.
It's just their environment.
Right? All right, but with that being said though, right? Like these ambiguous places where, you know, you kind of have to walk your way through figuring out, is this what's happening or is this what's happening, and what kind of people are involved, and the potential cultures of what has happened in rooms like this. Hey.
Oh, real quick. I'm obviously not talking about, I think like some people use it unambiguous. I just wanted to make sure I cover all my bases. Like some niggas are on like, okay, this girl finna come up in here, or this nigga finna come up in here. This is what I do. To everybody that comes in, I'm like, I'm setting up the situations where they cannot say no. And that is like inherently predatory. But I'm talking more about like the situations where like, this is just the culture of whatever like they're doing, and then it's hard to know who is privy to that culture and who is not.
Okay, so let me finish with this statement. Point. Hey, I understand that. That makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, this world can potentially have ambiguity. I Make Mad Beats does not. I don't fuck with that at all on no level. Nothing I touch, none of my niggas, never, ever, nigga. You come here, we work and we making music, we focus on a great product. If you're looking for that ambiguity on any level, if you are a producer, engineer, and you want to go somewhere and work with an artist where something might pop off, do not fuck with me, do not call me. If you're an artist and you are on that level, do not fuck with me, do not call me. I staunchly stand over here with respect to what you might want. You won't find it here.
He said,
period.
But that's essentially why I was asking for a mic, is because like, look, I get it. My girlfriend is an artist. You know what I'm saying? And I always said this is just like a personal thing. Like, hey, you know, I'm not finna go to clubs and parties and do that dance, right? I'ma just focus on what I'm doing, and I'm going to believe that I'm gonna meet somebody on the way. And currently that's what happened. But even in that, so I'm not saying that world you won't meet somebody, right? But what I'm saying is, when we were working, like, there was no hint that this was going to be a thing.
Period. Yeah.
Like, business was over, time had passed, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's like, err on the side of caution, because it's fucked up when it goes wrong. Like, it's just, there's no space. And like, if this is your only shot, like, you know what I'm saying, while we working on the song, like, where's your mind at? Like, where is your mind? Like, you can't clearly be making something hard if that's what you're thinking about. Like,
I mean, you could be making something hard. Pause.
I guess that is.
Hold on. Just maybe not the song. Be like, you could be making something hard. Like, oh my God.
Come on.
Yo, that was legendary. I'm so glad this is being recorded. I can't wait to post that.
I guess you could be making something hard, but
But not the beat.
I meant the product. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't be. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, I'm in a 5-year relationship, and I'm just now starting to like record my girl. You know what I'm saying? And when we in the studio, it's business. Like,
Yeah, straight up.
like I'm in a relationship, and that don't have like, that has very little space. Like, no, we gotta like, you know what I'm saying? Because
It's
the
rare to
lines
have that
because
dynamic.
yes, because one, the lines get blurred, so don't take the risk of fucking that up, because the potential downfall is way greater than the up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
facts.
like, be there for what you there for. Go somewhere else and be there for that. You know what I mean? Like, not here, not in the lab.
Yeah, like if that's what your goal is, like maybe like during this session you can be like, after this, would you like to go get some coffee or something like that? Like
After the session?
I sent you the tracks, all that. Did we?
Yes, when the business is done, do not complicate that. Like,
yeah, facts.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Business is
damn near wait till they
business,
put it
personal
out.
is personal.
You know what I'm saying? Keep in touch. Like,
Wait for the greatest hits, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Wait for the instrumental album.
but and that's the mentality. Like, let the business be completed. Let that be a good experience for what it was supposed to be.
But you know what though? Hold on. But you know what though? Yes.
Yeah.
We do. You know how I feel about this. But also, my nigga, as always, it's levels to this shit. You feel me? And so like, sometimes I always gotta wonder, like, when you're talking about like, yeah, man, you can get to extreme heights and things come back on you or whatever, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? When you said that, my thought was like, but do the people practicing this, are those the people aiming for extreme heights? Like, right? Or are they doing this because it's cool and it's a good way to like find a girl? Like, in other words, like you're looking out for a future they not even thinking about.
Right.
Like,
So-
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Again, this is what I'm talking about. You focus on the wrong thing. Focus on your goddamn future. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, on all
What
levels.
about if y'all's
you're not
futures match?
worry about the wrong
What
thing.
about
how
if
you
y'all's
do
matches?
anything is how
That's
you do everything.
right.
These patterns of characteristics show up in way more than this scenario, right? This is why I don't care, man. I have distanced myself from people and nobody understood until something shit went down. You know what I'm saying? And this is why, like, it's important to trust yourself when you see, you know, deep-rooted fear and insecurity in people, because, like, you know, it spills out all over the place. There's a part of this discussion though that I wanted to mention. This is something that's real. Let's talk about the other side of it, right? Like, little known facts. Yo, we would not book when I was running Dirty Sock Studios out of my house, right? It was my wife who came to me with the concern of like, yo, I don't think you should be having sessions here when either I'm not here or like somebody else isn't here. You know what I'm saying? And at first, I was on some like, is that like some jealousy, insecurity thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't trust me type stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then the way she explained it was like, no, I don't trust women coming through to the studio and the only person in the house is you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, what? You know what I'm saying? And then she was like, nah, they have ulterior motives too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know, they will come in and be acting a certain way and doing certain things, and if you don't respond to that and they don't handle rejection well, they'll say you did something that you don't be doing.
Yeah, facts.
Now, I want to be clear
Facts.
about something. This is from my wife. These were not naturally my thoughts.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And so my wife let me know, like, nah, people be lying, you know what I'm saying? People be saying stuff. I've seen it. And she told me, she was like, I've seen it happen. I've seen people make up stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I was
facts.
like, damn.
Me
I've
too.
experienced it.
Like I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say LJ
Yeah.
experienced it for real.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Like
I mean, anybody can be shitty. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be.
I just hate when it comes
Man
to
v.
the
woman.
music world, like, bro, because
when it comes to anything, like it can fuck up
I mean,
anything.
yes, anything,
like,
but
for
I'm just
real.
speaking more so like specifically for me and what I do, because I have had issues, like especially like trying to communicate with women artists that I'm like, yo, you're fucking amazing. Let's work or whatever. And but because of their previous situations of things that they've experienced, it'd be kind of hard to have those conversations of just getting in the studio and working.
Yeah.
Like, I've dealt with that.
These, man, because we can be taught to, when you are introduced to a like bad, damaging, or like just like ineffective, inefficient pattern, you can like become like, this is what it is. Like, this is what I should look for. Even like when people like their introduction to like love and romance is like really shitty and abusive, they'll just be like, okay, well, that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like in your body. That's what I should be looking for. So when people come to associate work in this kind of way, because like art is also just vulnerable, so like you're connecting all these things in your brain, so you're like, oh, this person like thinks that I'm a good artist. Like every other time this has happened, there's been like some kind of attraction or like pursuit of my body attached to it.
That's real.
So I'm
I
thinking
hate
that this person is including, like that's the quiet part. You're not saying the quiet part out loud, but that's what's under what you're saying. And so like that can be very, very, very like confusing. You're just trying to tell somebody, hey, I respect your work and I'm trying to work with you, but like they're understanding that to mean that you are like wanting to pursue them.
I feel like I don't really have an answer for that, because mostly because like all I can really like I'm passionately like that's just very unfortunate, right? And I'm not really sure how to mitigate that. I can only I can only speak passionately about what I feel like people can control. And that's your behavior and your focus, and like you can create an environment and do things to mitigate those things, like having somebody else in the studio, like mentioning, finding ways to mention your situation, like like I just believe that like the same way we pay attention to like what's happening in music, and the same way we know like, oh yeah, niggas is on these types of drums, you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's the same, you can have that same level of awareness of like social things that you just don't want to be a part of, right? And predatory, making women feel uncomfortable, making men feel uncomfortable in these types of scenarios. Like I feel like that's been talked about enough, right? Everybody in this industry, like you've heard enough interviews where like that's a thing. That's a thing. And you can, I feel like because of how much of a thing it is, like you can choose to be a part of it or not. You know what I mean? And that's a serious enough thing. If you take this shit seriously, right, which we've established not everybody does, if you take this shit seriously, like you will take that seriously. And if you don't take that seriously, Unapologetic and Outer Space is not the place for you. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. And I want to say this too. Who somebody said I was competitive? Yeah, I want to say this too. You know what I'm saying? Take it seriously. And if you don't take that seriously, don't be mad when people who take that seriously come to us.
Period.
That's it.
Don't be mad. Don't be wondering why Mad Beats. Shut up.
That part.
Accept it, bro.
That part.
We operate on a different level. You operate on a lower level. You just trying to get something for the night. We trying to build careers and change lives.
That's it.
You feel me? So like, just acknowledge your level. All right? Don't be mad. Don't go cry in the corner and subtweet. You're mad. Don't.
You're mad.
Don't, just leave all the little stupid social media shit out the way.
Bro,
you did it to yourself.
Yeah.
You couldn't control your dick. You know what I'm saying? Or your other body part, which I'm just not gonna say. But you couldn't control yourself. You know what I'm saying? And we control favors. You feel me?
Exactly, bro. Like, and what he said is acknowledging the fact that like, yo, everybody is human. Like nobody is like feeling or not seeing what you see and or whatever. Like all that shit comes up for everybody. But like, no, you can choose. You can make a decision. Not even a choice, a decision. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard this this guy, he was talking about like the difference between choices and decisions. Like choosing is like when you have an option, you pick one. A decision is when you cut yourself off from all other options. A decision that you are not going to partake in that kind of culture and you're not going to be a part of creating that environment.
Damn, Tangela, if you still listening, what up? I'm just not seeing all these comments.
Right, they just all popped up. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Oh damn! Salute. That's what's up. What's up, fam? No, this.
But
Yeah, that's a real thing, man.
Yeah,
I hate it. I hate it.
And like, you know, this might be a hot take, but like because of everything that was just expressed, hopefully where I stand is very clear from this conversation. But at the same time, like we've acknowledged that this shit is on both sides. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one-sided. Like y'all women, stop that shit. I just don't know.
Period.
I just can't control, like I can only speak from this position. You know what I'm saying? But like, nah, nigga, like stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, because honestly, like the way society is set up, like, nah, like you can fuck up people's career too, and that's fucked up. Like niggas know, you know what I'm saying? So like I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I let y'all figure out how to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not on that side, but like there's a clear like.
Y'all better watch y'all motherfucking self. Straight up, both of y'all.
Both of y'all, every gender, everybody.
For real though, like
They,
for real, I don't.
everybody.
It's
Cut it out. Cut that shit out.
All three of y'all.
All both of y'all.
All both.
And you know what? Let me throw this out there too, man. Because like, we're kind of. I'm gonna say this, and then we definitely gonna either switch up the topics or end this. You know. Okay. The same way you just said, like, nah, man, everybody, stop that, right? And we were talking about, you know, whether it's men or women or, you know, somewhere on the spectrum, right? Okay. I'm also going to say that I'm also going to say that culturally, right? And this is what I mean. Okay, and I'm going to say this, and we about to, man, y'all, these last few episodes, man, y'all been getting a real ass young name, bro.
I'm punching in. Tangela said unique and the auntie energy is killing me. All both of y'all. You crazy.
What's up, man? You reading the comments? Man,
that good eyesight, don't it?
I was reading on it.
Nah, like, you know, it's, I just want to say this too, you know, I see a lot of people virtue signal, right? I see a lot of people discuss a lot of progressive ideas, right? That seem like, and they do it publicly on social media and blah, 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 you know, and they discuss these things to give out the idea that they essentially would agree with our sentiments on these kinds of things, right? And I can say firsthand, not through somebody telling me a story, but from my own life. Man, you would be surprised. You know, if it's not backed by actions and patterns, I'm talking to you too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of, it's kind of clear and kind of vague at the same time of a statement. But all I'm saying is this, you know, man, duality is a real thing because I've seen people 1,000% agree with everything that we're saying, and then the next day turn around and put you in that scenario.
Oh, for real though.
Or make comments or advances on you, say things that are crossing the line, that are crossing boundaries. And so, man, I ask everybody, you know what I'm saying, whether you're an artist or whether you're a producer, right? When you're looking for somebody safe to work with in the studio, right? Like, look at patterns.
Yeah.
Patterns always tell the truth.
Yeah.
Time always tells the truth. Like, everybody who's ever worked with me in the studio, I watched you for a while.
Yeah.
Maybe not ever, but definitely in this part of my life. In this part of my life, to get like working with me on something, you know, on a higher level, you know, threshold or whatever, I had to make sure that you were the kind of person you say you are on social media. And a lot of times, I'm so glad I did that. Because man, the way the version of themselves people say on social media versus what it really is can be dramatically different. So to protect yourselves, let patterns tell you who people are, not what they said on their last post.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. That's like the really real. Like that's like
And circling back to
like that's the realest of the real. Like people lie all the time.
Absolutely.
circling
People be
back to the
professional
Diddy
way.
situation. Diddy has a pattern of certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like all these motherfuckers should have, you know, realized those things before they got with him instead of waiting till you not with him and started exposing all these things. And first and foremost, I ain't heard Wale come out and say shit about him being dangled off of no damn balcony by Diddy. Yeah, she said he got dangled off of a balcony or something like that.
I will say she also said that he blew up Kid Cudi's car, which actually did happen.
No, yeah, his car did blow up, but that
Yeah,
was
but-
coincidental, right?
I mean, I think it's like gray water because Diddy was like, I'm finna blow up your car, Kid Cudi. And Kid Cudi was like, okay. And then Kid Cudi's car got blown up. So, I mean, you know, it's like, I guess there is the like innocent until proven guilty, but I don't know. Like, I don't really just hear about people's cars blowing up just randomly.
Diddy has a track record, a big pattern of making people's lives a living hell.
Yeah, like I'm not.
Especially if he doesn't get his way.
Yeah,
like he's
yeah.
a big ass baby.
Y'all think he killed Tupac?
I don't know about all that. Like, I think I think people here.
You know what?
Man,
I do
Let's
believe that
Uni's like,
he
uh-oh.
knows, I do believe he knows something more than what he wants to tell the public eye, but it's been so long to where he's like, man, I ain't even gonna worry about that shit. Like they got who they want. Suge locked up for pretty much the rest of his life. He done passed out in a damn courtroom for his bail sentencing. You know what I'm saying? Like niggas is through, so he just like he living his best life. He
Yeah.
ain't studying that shit. Unfortunately. Mama gone.
Okay.
What an eventful episode this has been.
Yeah.
We are 4 minutes over time. That's how you know it's been eventful.
Period.
Yeah, this has been another episode of Type Beat, a podcast here at Outer Space, an unapologetic studio. I'm your host, I Make Mad Beats, and behind me is the cat.
LJ1S.
Unique.
Kid the Maestro.
I'm Frankster, known to some. Oh damn! I meant to say Frankie, but Frankster just came out, so I guess we're going with that today. Yeah.
Prankster.
And Sheena.
Shout out to this movie. Yo, y'all be safe out here. If you need to stay dangerous, stay dangerous. My dad is actively giving me weapons because we live in Memphis. Like, for real. Like, last week he gave me another weapon.
Word?
Yeah, he told me to stay dangerous. Y'all be safe.
Period.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit. Here we go again.